Today we begin our second series with the poet Mary Oliver, who was born in 1935. Maxine Kumin, in the Woman's Review of Books, wrote, "Mary Oliver is an indefatigable guide to the natural world, particularly to its lesser-known aspects." Kumin noted that Oliver stands quite comfortably on the margin of things, on the line between earth and sky, the thin membrane that separates human from what we loosely call animal. Oliver's poetry has won numerous awards, including the Pulitzer Prize, the National Book Award, and she has written many, many books. She is very prolific. Alicia Ostriker numbered Oliver among America's finest poets, as visionary as Emerson. As a young poet, Oliver was deeply influenced by Edna St. Vincent Millay, and we will read her poems at a later date. She even lived in Millay's home, helping Norma Millay, her sister, organize the papers. The New York Times described her as far and away America's best-selling poet. For me, there is something that she brings out that I don't find in other modern poets, as plentiful and often not as beautiful. We'll read a number of her poems today to give you the feeling not only of her love and connection with nature, but what she infuses from a higher plane. This first poem, very short poem, Praying. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot, or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together, and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks, and a silence in which another voice may speak. Daisies. It is possible, I suppose, that sometime we will learn everything there is to learn. What the world is, for example, and what it means. I think this as I am crossing from one field to another in summer, and the mockingbird is mocking me, as one who either knows enough already or knows enough to be perfectly content not knowing. Song being born of quest, he knows this. He must turn silent were he suddenly assaulted with answers. Instead, oh, hear his wild, caustic, tender warbling, ceaselessly unanswered. At my feet, the white-petaled daisies display the small suns of their centerpiece. Their, if you don't mind my saying so, their hearts. Of course, I could be wrong. Perhaps their hearts are pale and narrow and hidden in the roots. What do I know? But this, it is heaven itself to take what is given, to see what is plain, what the sun lights up willingly. For example, I think this as I reach down, not to pick, but merely to touch. the suitability of the field for the daisies, and the daisies for the field. The lark. And I have seen at dawn the lark spin out of the long grass and into the pink air, its wings, which are neither wide nor overstrong, fluttering, the pectorals ploughing and flashing, for nothing but altitude, and the song bursting all the while from the red throat. And then he descends and is sorry. His little head hangs, and he pants for breath for a few moments among the hoops of the grass, which are crisp and dry, where most of his living is done. And then something summons him again, and up he goes, his shoulders working, his whole body almost collapsing and floating to the edges of the world. We are reconciled, I think, to too much. Better to be a bird like this one, an ornament of the eternal. As he came down once to the nest of the grass, squander the day, but save the soul, I heard him say. Morning poem. Every morning the world is created. Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves to the high branches. And the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries within it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still somewhere deep within you a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly every morning. Whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray. Last night, the rain spoke to me. Last night, the rain spoke to me, slowly, saying, "What joy to come falling out of the brisk cloud, to be happy again in a new way on the earth." That's what it said, as it dropped, smelling of iron, and vanished like a dream of the ocean into the branches and the grass below. Then it was over. The sky cleared. I was standing under a tree. The tree was a tree with happy leaves. And I was myself. And there were stars in the sky that were also themselves. At the moment, at which moment my right hand was holding my left hand, which was holding the tree, which was filled with stars and the soft rain. Imagine the long and wondrous journeys still to be ours. Now she's 80 years old, and so not only nature, but thinking of age, and this poem, extraordinary poem, as many of hers are. When death comes, like the hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut, when death comes like the measles pox, when death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering what is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness. And therefore I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And I look upon time as no more than an idea. And I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular, and each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending, as all music does, toward silence. And each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened and full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Mockingbirds. This morning, 2 mockingbirds in the green field were spinning and tossing the white ribbons of their song into the air. I had nothing better to do than listen. I mean this seriously. In Greece, a long time ago, an old couple opened their door to 2 strangers who were, it soon appeared, not men at all, but gods. It is my favorite story, how the old couple had almost nothing to give, but their willingness to be attentive. For this alone, the gods loved them and blessed them. When they rose out of their mortal bodies, like a million particles of water from a fountain, the light swept into all the corners of the cottage. And the old couple, shaken with understanding, bowed down. But still they asked for nothing but the difficult life which they had already. And the gods smiled as they vanished, clapping their great wings. Whatever it was I was supposed to be this morning, whatever it was I said I would be doing, I was standing at the edge of the field. I was hurrying through my own soul, opening its dark doors I was leaning out. I was listening. Sunrise. You can die for it, an idea, or the world. People have done so brilliantly, letting their small bodies be bound to the stake, creating an unforgettable fury of light. But this morning, climbing the familiar hills, in the familiar fabric of dawn, I thought of China and India and Europe. And I thought how the sun blazes for everyone, just so joyfully as it rises under the lashes of my own eyes. And I thought, I am so many. What is my name? What is the name of the deep breath I would take over and over for all of us? Call it whatever you want. It is happiness. It is another one of the ways to enter fire. Snow geese. Oh, to love what is lovely and will not last. What a task to ask of anything or anyone, yet it is ours, and not by the century or the year, but by the hours. One fall day, I heard above me, and above the sting of the wind, a sound I did not know. And my look shot upward. It was a flock of snow geese, winging it faster than the ones we usually see, and being the color of snow, catching the sun, so they were, in part at least, golden, held my breath, as we do sometimes to stop time when something wonderful has touched us. As with a match, which is lit and bright, but does not hurt in the common way, but delightfully, as if delight were the most serious thing you ever felt. The geese flew on. I have never seen them again. Maybe I will someday, somewhere. Maybe I won't. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when I saw them as through the veil, secretly, joyfully, clearly. And the last poem for today. The Summer Day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?